Happy holidays and welcome to Dctv's special presentation in honor of Giving Tuesday. I'm Lisa D., Director of Community Engagement, Programming, and Communications here at Dctv. There are more than 12,000 nonprofit organizations in Washington, D.C., and according to the Center for Nonprofit Advancement, 8,000 of those are registered 501c3 organizations. These nonprofits have a great economic impact in the district, generating more than $40 billion in annual revenue. What's also commendable is the enormous amount of volunteer work that is performed in our communities. Our mission here at Dctv is to provide meaningful media to the residents of Washington, D.C. and the surrounding communities. We are always hard at work providing a platform for local voices to be heard and to spark meaningful dialogue to address a variety of issues affecting those residents. In 2019, Dctv launched a unique capacity building grant program for the purpose of helping nonprofit organizations increase their communications capacity and to cultivate our communities with meaningful media. We developed this grant with the guidance of nonprofit leaders who told us that getting the message out about their organization's mission is one of the biggest challenges they face, especially in this ever-evolving digital world. So today, we are here to tell their stories and to give a platform to these meaningful messages of impact. It is truly an honor for all of us here at Dctv to celebrate Giving Tuesday and to showcase the many nonprofit organizations here in Washington, D.C. and all over the DMV that are making a huge difference in the lives of others. As communities continue to face challenges and difficulties due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the services and assistance these nonprofit organizations provide to the residents are more important than ever. Giving Tuesday is celebrated each year on the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving. It was started back in 2012 and is recognized globally as a way of encouraging people to give and to help others. It is our hope that by watching this 24-hour special programming event, you'll be inspired to find out more about these organizations and the important work that they continue to do on a daily basis. Throughout this special event, you'll be introduced to various members of Dctv staff as we come together in honor of Giving Tuesday. But first, we'll hear from the CEO of the Center for Nonprofit Advancement and the Chief Service Officer and Director of the Mayor's Office on Volunteerism and Partnerships, Serve DC, with a message for our communities about nonprofits and volunteerism. Enjoy.
Nonprofits over this last year and through the pandemic have really stood in the gap. We have reached communities that government and no other support systems could get to. The communities hardest hit and the people hardest hit with challenges. So when you look at organizations that have distributed PPE, have helped to get technology to homes where young people were being challenged with virtual schooling, providing food and even shelter, those are some of the things that were so important and more important during this challenging time that nonprofit organizations were able to execute gracefully and masterfully. There is a tremendous partnership with government and nonprofits in the District of Columbia. It's Serve DC, the Mayor's Office for Volunteerism and Engagement that the center works with to really ensure that every corner of the district has support, is meeting the needs of people in communities and making sure that that drive that we talk about is actually happening.
In 2020 and 2021, our nonprofit community stepped up in epic ways, especially during the onset of the pandemic. They leaned in to ensure that there was no disruption of essential services on behalf of our residents by providing access to food delivery, housing, and health and social services. Our mayor and local government officials also look to nonprofits to be the trusted relationship and provider to their constituents for COVID-19 testing and vaccine availability. So they have really been at the backbone and the foundation of our community during this really sensitive and unprecedented time.
stay involved, stay connected. It's not enough to just sit around and watch and see what's happening. It's super important for us all to do our part and share in the work of our communities.
I'm Joel Gershon, Director of Education at Dctv. And before taking on this position, I taught at the university level for many years. So education is an area I care deeply about. And it's something all of us here at Dctv recognize as a crucial component in society. During the height of the pandemic, Dctv was able to serve as the most important resource for DC school children. We dedicated our airwaves during school hours to providing educational content provided by the DC public school system. The goal was to ensure that youth in DC could keep up with their schoolwork, as there are still many DC residents who don't have internet service at home and cannot log on for online classes. There's no monolithic way to approach education, so up next are a variety of pieces that feature DC area nonprofit organizations that are providing important educational services in distinctive ways. These include positive after-school services, scholarships for students, charter schools, special training programs, and more. The nonprofit organizations that we are featuring include Scholarships, Inc., Capital Village Public Charter Schools, Swaliga Foundation, Perscolas, Inc., Girls Global Academy Public Charter School, Heads Up, Inc., or Harnessing Entrepreneurship, and Access Driven by STEAM. The topic of education runs deep, and you are about to see how different local organizations who care about our youth are making a real difference when it comes to teaching and learning.
Being with our scholars and alumni is the most amazing feeling ever. I feel like even though I'm close to their age, I feel like a proud mom. What kinds of, both when you three were in college, what types of topics and things would be helpful for, like if you could sit under an expert for 30 minutes to an hour, what kind of things would you want to talk about, would you want to learn about? For young people, young adults who have incarcerated parents, going to college, where a lot of times we're the first or maybe the second in our families to go to college and or to graduate from college. Budgeting, these are really great ideas. It opens up opportunities, it opens up networks and new worlds to us and resources, and it allows us to become wealth builders, to break out of cycles of poverty and incarceration in our families.
Full transparency, like I had to build up my credit before I even purchased a car, you know? So if I had known, I would have started that process when I was in college, you know, versus waiting until after I got out of school.
Even our meetings, we were never meeting in like this dark room or anything where it's like, this is a secret, you know, you should feel shame, stigma, or judgment, but really like this is an experience that is a part of your life, and here's how other people are dealing with that too.
Being part of scholarships makes you feel united, and it makes you feel like you're part of a big family.
Right now I'm currently attending Northern Virginia Community College in hopes of transferring to a four-year university.
Right now I'm a pre-med student at George Washington University, and I'm a medical assistant for an OBGYN in Bethesda.
Society says that a child of an incarcerated parent should end up in jail or not finish school, let alone college. But here we are today thriving in all of our respective areas, and that is thanks to scholarships and our tribe, our family who's been supporting us all along the way.
Once again, it's time for Impact Moment right here on DCTV. I'm Alvin Jones, and today we're going to talk about the IT. I'm talking about, of course, technology when it comes to doing things over the internet. And we've got Bridget Gray. She is with Perscolas.
Yes,
and you are about the impact.
We are.
And isn't that your title? Your title has impact in it?
Actually, it is. I'm our Chief Impact Officer, so I make sure that everything that we do has impact with the lives and the communities that we provide training to, with our business community as well. So yes, impact is part of our business.
Well, let's talk about IT. I understand you guys train folks for IT.
We do. We train people in everything on what people would deem entry-level to mid-level skills. So that's everything from your end-user support roles to your cybersecurity, your coders, your cloud fundamentals. We train people in IT.
So in other words, if you get certified in IT, to paraphrase the lady, you're going to get a job.
You will get a job. If you want a job, you'll get a job.
What are the success, metrics, I would say, if a person graduates from Perscolas and they get their degree or the certification, what are their possibilities of getting a job?
Yeah, so if they're getting their credentials, and even in those training tracks where there's no actual certification, 83% of our learners go on to secure full-time employment. And the initial average wage is usually in the low 40s, but our goal is always to move people towards a thriving wage. And so we want to make sure that even when you start at your low 40s, we can help you thrive and move that wage further into something that's much more sustainable for you and your families.
Now, I know folks who may not be versatile in IT may be challenged or may be fearful of going into IT. What are some of the challenges that people have, and how do you help them alleviate those fears?
So the thing that's really interesting about IT is when you find that comes to your door are the curious people, right? The folks that are problem solvers, the tinkerers, the people that want to tear something apart and put it back together, because those are the folks that are really interested in IT. That's who employers look for as well. But there are those folks who think that IT is the fact that I can get on Facebook or I can get on Instagram or social media, and that's not IT, that's a function of IT. And so we really try to dig deep in our interviewing process to really find out what is your passion and what is it you're looking to do. IT is also the space too where when you initially start, it may not be the space you're looking for. You may not want to work on a help desk forever, but you need to test it out just to figure out what form of IT you're looking to work in.
Tell me something that surprised you in working with Perscola.
So in working with Perscolas, one of the things that drew me to the organization, so I've been here over 6.5 years now, and one of the things that drew me was how deeply ingrained Perscolas is in social justice, equity, inclusion. It's entrenched. It started out as an organization 25 years ago, just connecting technology to communities of color that lacked the basic level computers. And it morphed into a training organization that's actually providing technology in a different way. It may not be providing an actual physical computer, but it's providing the pathways to make sure that people can move into the middle class and continue to thrive within that space. The other thing that really surprised me about the organization and just our work is we are solutions focused, business driven, and we are also an organization that has been studied a couple times. So when it comes down to like looking at our data and realizing that the impact we have is really great, the fact that we're a nonprofit and we're not afraid to have someone to come in and like lift the hood and make sure that all the things we say we're doing, we do, that is amazing to me.
So what she's saying is, don't believe her, just watch, because they are doing it, and I mean IT. So if you're saying we can't find qualified IT people who are diverse, we're looking to set up a situation where we have diversity and inclusion, all you have to do is contact Miss Bridget Gray at Perscolas, and tell them how they can reach you.
Yeah, so they can reach us. We have 14 training locations, and we have 2 in this area, one in Silver Spring, Maryland, as well as in Baltimore. And they can reach us at www.perscolas.org and go and select your location and apply online.
Well, that's it, as in IT. Thank you for coming on Impact Moment. We really appreciate it. So make sure you check them out, Perscolas. And it's all a part of Impact Moment on Dctv. I'm Alvin Jones, and thank you for watching us, and make sure you check it out.
Amazon conservation has been around for 20 years. We started in the middle of the Amazon jungle 20 years ago. Two conservationists and scientists were trying to figure out what's the best way forward in terms of making conservation happen in the Amazon. We're at the point on the planet now where that biodiversity is the key to really saving us as a species. If we don't have the forests, if we don't have the water, if we don't have the oceans that can maintain these species and the vast amount of biodiversity we have on the planet, it won't maintain us. And the loss of species is just an indicator of how the situation on the planet is becoming more difficult for us. We might not feel it now, but it's going to get to a point where we're going to see the impact on us as a species. You can check us out on our website, amazonconservation.org, and learn more about the work that we do.
Asylum seekers flee their home country suddenly and will arrive in the United States seeking safety from persecution. They will live in legal limbo for many years with few resources of their own. Asylum seekers are a diverse group of people. This legal status transcends country of origin, age, race, religion, and class. Despite these many differences, asylum seekers are united by their belief in the United States as a country that values safety and freedom. Asylum Works provides holistic services and support proven to help asylum seekers regain confidence and control over their futures. For this reason, Asylum Works clients are dramatically more likely to win their asylum case. Asylum Works strengthens communities by empowering asylum seekers to rebuild their lives with dignity and purpose. Visit asylumworks.org to get involved.
So part of our mission here at Girls Global Academy is because I matter and because you matter. And that is a huge thing here at GGA, is being able to positively affirm all of our students and letting them know that they're enough, they're worthy, and that they are beautiful inside and out.
My experience with GGA has been unique, to say the least. It's been pretty rocky, especially with COVID and going online, but I will say that we've been able to overcome, especially going back in person this year.
I think the sisterhood and actually having like a more comfortable environment to talk in, because like I feel like in an all-girls school you can really talk about anything because everybody's the same. It's like all girls. Everybody here has like a place and has like friendships and stuff. Everybody like feels, I guess, needed or wanted.
I've connected with some people at my school pretty quickly, about 3 months, so I'm very glad for that. I've been able to connect very well.
I got really excited when I found out how small the school would be. I had also attended a high school that was a startup, so just being alongside students who would be the first graduating class felt very familiar. And it was also just one of those experiences where I could get them excited about starting a legacy and building traditions.
We need this school. Our students need to be part of a holistic education where not only their academic needs are being met, but their social and emotional needs are being met as well. And we just want to continue to support this kind of process moving forward because students are not just one piece. They come with a multitude of things going on, and we want to make sure that we support them in all aspects.
Our girls are able to see people that look like them in different spaces, whether that is in the gym, whether that is as a co-founder, whether it's a principal, whether it's a math teacher. They're able to see people that look like them and people that don't, being able to thrive in an environment that they feel safe and that they're able to learn with the best of the best teachers here in the District of Columbia.
The emphasis on sisterhood, with it being a all-girls school and whatnot, I do think that there is a more deeper tie between having close relationships with your sisters
we love our girls here, and I think they know that. So the question is, who are these girls going to be? And that's just a question I think a lot of us are very excited about.
According to Diversity in STEAM magazine, employment in science, technology, engineering, and math occupations has grown 79% since 1990. But women, African Americans, and Hispanics remain underrepresented in the field. Welcome to Impact Moment, brought to you by Dctv. I'm Rebecca Burnett, and today I'm joined by Theodora H. Brown, who is here to tell me how harnessing entrepreneurship and access driven by STEAM, or Heads Up Inc., is diversifying the industry. Welcome, Theodora.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
So I know this is probably a loaded question, but why were minorities and women left behind as the STEAM industry ramped up?
Well, I don't want to state the obvious, but it is obvious. It's systemic racism in America, and the notion that Black and Brown children cannot thrive in the STEM space. And so that's sort of my take on it. And as a parent, and I am a parent, I had the opportunity to see up close and personal just how there was just this inequitable distribution of resources and opportunities in DC public schools. And so again, systemically, and also just my on the ground observation.
And how is Heads Up Inc. sort of addressing that, both systemically, but maybe also locally too?
Sure. So Heads Up actually came about as a result of a collaboration between the work that we were doing in the education equity space for McKinley Technology High School. My son, Zachary Green, who is now a senior at Morehouse College, was in the information technology STEM at McKinley. There are 3 STEMs. There's information technology, biotechnology, and engineering. And so in the 10th grade, he and a group of his friends participated in this Verizon App Challenge. They won school-wide, they won citywide, and Verizon gave the school some money, gave the kids some tablets. And when my question to his computer science teacher was, who owns the invention? And her answer was, that's a good question. And my response was, well, it's not a good answer because these kids are in the innovation space. They're inventing apps and software programs, and they don't understand the importance of ownership of those inventions and those innovations. And so it was my desire. So harnessing entrepreneurship and access driven by STEAM was born out of that space. And it's our desire to move the needle and expose our children, teach them about entrepreneurship so that they can do more than just seek jobs and careers, but also create enterprises around their inventions and employ people in the community as well.
And I love one of the ways that you're doing that with your partnership with American University to pair high school students with college students. Can you tell me more about the program and what it aims to do?
Absolutely, and that was really a very fortuitous arrangement as well. One of our staunch board members who had 30 years of corporate experience in sales made a cold call to American University and spoke with Dr. Catherine Walters-Conti, who is the director of the STEM Partnerships and Outreach Program at American University. And so they were just waiting for a conduit, if you will, to come and allow them to provide student volunteer services to students in the DC public school system. And so this is our first program that we started this year. And it was a virtual program because of the pandemic, but 11 American University students signed up to volunteer to serve as mentors to the senior biotechnology students in their capstone projects. And I have to say that was a successful program, to start. And we're extending the program to the other 2 STEMs at McKinley, the engineering program and also the computer science or information technology program.
How do members of the STEAM field, or how does the STEAM field in general benefit by having a diversified employee base?
It's like everything else, Rebecca, in society. When you have diversity, you have many voices at the table addressing issues that impact all of us. And so if you just have, just sort of the myopic, one perspective, then you're not going to have innovation, you're not going to have growth, and you're not going to have just a well-rounded conversation about how we solve our problems. Is what you won't have.
So if anyone wants to get involved with your programming, how should they learn more? Where can they find you?
Well, they can follow us on Twitter at HeadsUpI. That's @ HeadSupi.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to what we have in store for our students and the DC community at large.
I am too. And thank you to our viewers at home for tuning in to this episode of Impact Moment. It's part of DCTV's nonprofit capacity building grants program, bringing meaningful media to the DMV's nonprofits that are making a difference. Find out more at dctv.org/grants and stay up to date with our latest productions on our live stream at dctv.org/live.
Opening up in a pandemic was not what anybody could have planned or forecasted, but we've seen such great success even opening in the pandemic, and it's amazing to just see kids in this space, in the building, to see teachers moving and educating our students. So we're just excited to see, something that was a plan and a thought and an idea come to fruition.
Most parents, we stick to the schools that we know. This school's here, this school's there, da-da-da-da. But being this convenient, being here, right across from our home, right around the corner, the same neighborhood, it doesn't get any better than that. And to have the stellar performance that I have to have with my daughter is awesome.
My last school, from my point of view, they allowed bullying because I was bullied from 1st to 5th grade. And nobody really did anything. In my old school, there was fights everywhere. This school, they don't allow that. They don't tolerate fights, and we know how to represent ourselves here.
She's always made to feel like she's counted, she's seen, she's heard. Everyone hears her voice, no matter what the situation is. And as a parent, that is the most awesome thing you could ask for when your child is not with you, that they are constantly in a safe environment with safe adults and people who are there to help and make sure that it will never go any other way than the way it should.
Where do warm currents want to go?
Ooh, you better go ahead.
We are an intentionally small school, so we will, once we hit our max enrollment, we'll have less than 200 students.
Show me, yep, yeah girl, show me.
Especially in middle school where they're kind of transitioning in that awkward phase of life and they're trying to figure out themselves. It gives them the chance to really build relationships with their teachers and to feel open to be able to ask questions and to make sure that they can get the support that they need.
Can I get a fist bump?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, one thing about our curriculum is that it is definitely rigorous. It's, Common Core standards, college, ready material. But we also try to make it very relevant. So we want to pair those Common Core standards with real world issues.
Last year we did ocean pollution, fish depletion. Our solution was to fish less and only use certain items to fish.
And we're looking at what are some things that have worked for them in the past as far as in their education? What are some strengths? What are some areas of growth? What are some interests and ambitions so that we can use every opportunity to really tailor the educational experience to that student's needs. And so we're very flexible in the way their day might look. Every student's schedule is almost individually created just to make sure that they're getting a customized individual experience. Once again, it's time for Impact Moment right here on DCTV. I'm Alvin Jones, and today I have the